The Embers, Enigma. The afternoon sun filtered through dusty windows as 12-year-old Eamon climbed the creaking stairs to his grandmother's attic. Cobwebs draped the rafters like forgotten curtains, and the air smelled of old books and lavender sachets. He'd been tasked with sorting through Gran's belongings after she'd moved to the assisted living home. But what he found would change everything. Hidden beneath a moth-eaten quilt, wrapped in silk that shimmered with an otherworldly sheen, lay an intricate wooden box. Runes carved deep into its surface seemed to pulse with their own heartbeat. As Eamon's fingers traced the ancient symbols, the box clicked open with a sound like wind chimes. Inside, nestled in midnight blue velvet, rested the Ember artifact. It was no larger than his palm, a crystalline orb that swirled with liquid fire, suspended within a framework of silver that seemed to grow rather than be forged. The moment his skin touched its surface, warmth spread up his arm, and the world shifted. The attic walls became translucent, revealing glimpses of impossible landscapes beyond. Floating islands drifted through purple skies, and creatures of living starlight danced between them. The hidden world, a voice whispered in his mind, though no one else was there. "Eamon!" His friend Sage's voice drifted up from below. "Your mom says dinner's ready." He quickly rewrapped the artifact, but the warmth lingered in his chest like a secret flame. That night, as Thistlewood settled into its usual quiet, Eamon couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw those impossible visions, felt the pull of something vast and ancient calling to him. It was just past midnight when they came. The sparkling sprites arrived first, thumb-sized beings of pure light that zipped through his bedroom walls like friendly fireflies. Their tinkling laughter filled the air as they circled his head, chattering in a language that sounded like silver bells. The Ember calls. One squeaked in perfect English, its voice high and musical. The barriers grow thin. Others will come soon. Others not so friendly. Before Eamon could respond, his bedroom floor began to tremble. Plaster fell from the ceiling as something massive moved beneath the house. The earthbound giants, the sprite explained, drawn by the artifact's awakening power. These ancient beings, tall as oak trees and patient as stone, sought to reclaim what they believed belonged to the earth. But it was the third presence that made Eamon's blood run cold. The whispering shadows seeped through the cracks in reality itself, formless entities of hunger and malice that fed on magical energy. They moved like smoke given purpose, their voices a chorus of barely audible threats that made his teeth ache and his vision blur. "Give us the Ember," they hissed from every corner of his room. "Let us devour its light. Let us grow strong." Eamon clutched the artifact to his chest, its warmth the only thing keeping the shadows at bay. But he knew, with the certainty that only comes in moments of true crisis, that he couldn't face this alone. The next morning, he gathered his 3 closest friends in the old oak grove behind the school. Sage, with her wire-rimmed glasses and encyclopedic knowledge of local folklore, listened intently as he described the previous night's visitor. Roan, ever ready for adventure, was practically bouncing with excitement. Finn, the pragmatist of the group, examined the artifact with the calculating eye of someone who'd learned to survive by his wits. "The legends speak of such things," Sage said, consulting a leather-bound journal she'd inherited from her great-aunt. "Artifacts that bridge worlds, calling forth both protectors and predators. If the barriers are truly weakening, then we need to learn how to strengthen them," Roan finished, his hand already reaching for the hiking pack he never left home without. "This is exactly the kind of quest I've been waiting for my whole life." Finn was more cautious. The sprites mentioned others would come. But How do we know who to trust? Their answer came that very afternoon when the ground beneath Thistlewood began to crack. An earthbound giant emerged in the town square, a being of living granite and moss, its eyes like deep caves filled with ancient wisdom. The townspeople fled in terror, but the giant's voice, when it spoke, was gentle as a summer breeze. "Young guardian," it rumbled, looking directly at Eamon. "The Ember artifact belongs to no single realm. It is a bridge, a key, a responsibility. We do not seek to take it, but to teach you its proper use." The lessons began immediately. In the giant's hidden caverns beneath Thistlewood, Eamon learned that the artifact responded to intention and emotion. Fear made its light dim and attracted the whispering shadows. Anger turned its warmth to searing heat that could burn without fire. But wonder, pure, childlike wonder, made it sing with harmonious power that could heal wounds and mend broken things. "Magic is not about controlling power," the giant explained as Eamon practiced channeling the artifact's energy into simple spells. Making flowers bloom out of season, calling rain from cloudless skies, speaking with the animals that lived in the cavern's depths. It is about understanding your place in the greater pattern, about accepting responsibility for the consequences of your choices. Their training was interrupted when the Whispering Shadows launched their first major assault. They came at dusk, pouring through every crack and crevice in Thistlewood, their hunger given form and fury. The streetlights flickered and died. Windows frosted over despite the warm evening. And everywhere, that terrible whispering that promised power in exchange for submission. Eamon and his friends made their stand in the town square, the artifact blazing in Eamon's hands like a miniature sun. Sage had studied the ancient texts and knew the words of binding. Rowan had trained with the giant stone warriors and could fight with sword and shield. Finn had learned the sprite's trick of moving between shadows, appearing where least expected to strike at their enemies' weaknesses. But it wasn't enough. The Whispering Shadows were too many, too hungry, too desperate. They pressed closer, their icy touch draining warmth and hope from everything they touched. Just when it seemed they would overwhelm the defenders, new allies arrived. The Elder Tree, ancient beyond measure, awakened from its centuries-long slumber. Its roots burst from the earth throughout Thistlewood, creating barriers of living wood that the shadows couldn't cross. The Dragon Keeper, guardian of the gateway between worlds, descended from the mountains with wings that scattered starlight and breath that burned away darkness itself. "The boy has proven himself worthy," the Dragon Keeper declared, its voice like distant thunder. "The artifact has chosen its guardian well." In the final battle, Eamon discovered the artifact's greatest secret. It wasn't meant to be hoarded or hidden away. It was meant to be shared. As he opened his heart to his friends, to the magical beings who had become their allies, to the very town of Thistlewood itself, the artifact's power multiplied beyond anything he had imagined. Light poured from the crystal like liquid joy, creating a protective dome over the entire town. The Whispering Shadows recoiled, their forms dissolving like smoke in a strong wind. But instead of banishing them forever, Eamon felt a moment of profound compassion. These beings weren't evil. They were hungry, desperate, afraid. They had forgotten what it felt like to create instead of consume. With careful concentration, he extended the artifact's healing light to touch even the shadows. Where it met them, they transformed, not destroyed, but renewed. Their whispers became songs. Their hunger became curiosity. Their darkness became the gentle shadows that make noon sunshine more precious. As dawn broke over Thistlewood, the town looked different. Flowers bloomed in impossible colors. The fountain in the square ran with water that sparkled like crushed diamonds. And in the eyes of every citizen, there was a new awareness. Magic was real, and it lived among them. So, what happens now? Sage asked, as the four friends sat on the hill overlooking their transformed town. Eamon held the artifact up to catch the morning light. Through its crystal surface, he could see glimpses of other worlds, other adventures waiting. Now we explore, he said. We learn. We protect what needs protecting and help what needs helping. Yeah, and we stay together? Ron asked. Always, Finn agreed, speaking for all of them. The Ember artifact pulsed once, as if in approval, and in that pulse was a promise. That magic, once awakened, never truly sleeps. It lives in the spaces between heartbeats, in the pause between question and answer, in the moment when four friends look at an impossible future and decide to face it together. In the days that followed, Thistlewood became a place of pilgrimage for magical beings from across the hidden world. The sprites established a permanent colony in the town park, their laughter brightening even the driest days. The earthbound giants taught the local gardeners how to grow vegetables the size of boulders and twice as sweet. The transformed shadows became the town's protectors, watching over sleeping children and keeping nightmares at bay. And Eamon, Sage, Roan, and Finn, they continued their education in the magical arts, preparing for the greater adventures that lay ahead. For the artifact had shown them that Thistlewood was just the beginning, a single bright note in a symphony of worlds waiting to be explored. The magic was no longer a distant whisper. It had found its voice, and it sang of friendship, courage, and the endless possibilities that await those brave enough to step through doorways that shouldn't exist, but do anyway. After all, in a world where wooden boxes contain liquid fire and shadows can learn to sing, anything is possible, especially if you have the right friends beside you when you reach for the impossible and find it reaching back.